Hi, my name is Brighton, your English teacher. Today again, we are continuing with our lessons. But before we go on, please, can you just subscribe? I'm waiting for you to subscribe so that we can continue. Okay, I believe you have already subscribed. Now we can continue. Today, we are going to discuss an issue which is a little bit unique. Learn English harmonizes or Konde boys way. Learn English harmonizes or Konde boys way. I believe every one of us here knows who Harmonize is, who Konde boy is. A Tanzanian musician, a very big Tanzanian musician. This guy is so inspirational in so many things. Everybody knows that. When you come to music career, he inspires a lot of people, a lot of youth, a lot of hustlers, a lot of singers. He's inspirational in so many things, but to me, this guy is inspirational when it comes to English. Everybody knows when the guy started his career, he was not good at all at speaking English. He was never good at that. But you can see now he's good and he's fluent. You see? So I just sat down and thought that that can be among my lessons to teach you. So the guy is good at speaking English. And I want you to learn English the same way. I would tell you how this guy is good at English. Okay? How he managed to be a good speaker from zero to the way he is now. He can communicate well and everybody understands when he talks, when he speaks. He's fluent. So that is what I'm going to teach you. You have to learn it on a nice way. You have to learn it Konde boys way. Here is the process which in one way or another or the other might have helped him to be the way he is right now. I have just uh, put a procedure here. As I always tell you that there is a difference between spoken English and written English. Many of us are good at written English, especially we Tanzanians are good at written English. But when it comes to speaking, it's a little bit a problem. So I want us to just keep our attention on spoken English, spoken form of a language, and our goal is to be fluent. So how are we going to be fluent? We have to use different techniques, but speaking is always unavoidable. You can't avoid it. Don't avoid speaking. Just speak. Okay? Here's a process. We have watching. We start with watching and we use our eyes to watch. But what do we watch? We watch native speakers speaking. When watching, at the same time, listening. We use our ears to listen. We use our eyes to watch. You use your eyes to watch the way they speak, to watch the mood, to see their facial expressions. Okay? You hear them pronouncing a word and you ask yourself, what does this word mean? Just by looking at their facial expressions, maybe how they express when they just pronounce that word, you see how they are in their face, the mood they are in. When the word is spoken or is pronounced, what a person is angry, you will have to let the word with the mood too. So watching is very important. Watch. You watch a person's mood, a person's facial expression of what is speaking or what is saying. So you watch. After watching, you will have to listen too. So listening, you watch while listening. So uh, these two actions have to be done simultaneously. You watch while listening. Watch while listening. You watch the facial expressions. You listen the words they speak. Do you understand? So watching will make it possible for you to realize the mood of the person speaking. Okay, comprehending, this is a process. Comprehending or understanding. So after watching and listening, you will have to understand, or you will have to comprehend what is being said. Do you understand? So first one, watch, listen, understand. These two actions have to be done simultaneously. So understanding is a process, but listening has to be done quickly, and watching has to be done quickly. You have to make sure that you put your all attention at the way people speak, at the way people pronounce some words. Okay, you have to listen, you have to watch. You watch the mouth movement when uttering some words, so that is going to help you. Another thing is, after all this, the important thing is to speak now. When you hear them speaking, you have to speak too. What do you speak? Uh, it is not necessary for you to repeat the same sentences. You can just construct sentences of the same kind from what you hear from them saying. So more examples will help you. So you will have to just listen, relate. Okay. So speaking is more important, and just repeating the same thing they have just said is allowed too. You have to do that. Okay. So speaking, it will go second after listening. Listen, watch, understand, speak. So after all these three processes, one, two, three, you'll have to try speaking. Practice speaking. That will give you the ability to sound natural. Okay? If you just listen to native speakers, it will require you to speak the same way they speak, to learn the same way they learn, to understand the same way they understand. And remember, if you are learning English, you have to make sure that you put an effort. Put an effort. Every day, make sure that you practice speaking. Every day, practice speaking. Okay, another thing is practicing conversation. If you are lucky enough, okay, or you hit the jackpot, they say, bro, sister, make sure that you find another person who is maybe, if not a native speaker, or maybe just a person who is able to speak English fluently. Talk to them. Make sure that you always have conversation with them so that you build confidence. You build that flow. When it comes to speaking, it's very complicated when we're comparing when you are writing. Writing is simple because it gives you time to think. Writing, reading, sometimes these two things are simple because they give you time to think of what you are going to say next. Maybe you think, okay, this paragraph, I will write this, and this, and this. But after uh, this paragraph, I will have to talk about this. And I'll just construct this sentence, and this sentence, and this sentence. But when it comes to speaking, it is promptly done. You have to do it uh, promptly. And that is not a simple job, an easy work. You can find someone is speaking, but you realize that they make a lot of mistakes. But don't judge them. Speaking is not easy, and that is going to be applied to you too. When you find some hardships when it comes to speaking, don't give up. Give it a time. Know that That is how we go. It's a process, and in a process, uh, errors happen, and when they happen, we don't have to just be afraid of making mistakes or errors. They have to build us. They have to tell us that we need to make mistakes so that next time we don't make them again. We realize that we have just made mistakes and we do something about it. Writing, for a person who aims at speaking, you can just put it last, writing and reading sometimes. So you have to keep struggling on how to speak. Just speak. Writing will come next after all these processes. Do you understand? But I'm saying so because I know most of us have that background knowledge of English. So we went to school, okay? We went to school. We just started from Form 1 to maybe Form 4. This is about Tanzanians, okay? If you're not Tanzanian, I think you won't understand, but please be patient with me because I have to deal with these people too because uh, they are they have this problem. It is serious to them. If you're not Tanzanian, you just can't relate with your education system in your country. Okay? In our country, you can just go to school from Form 1 to Form 4, sometimes from Form 4 to Form 6. So, in secondary schools, we learn English. All subjects are taught in English except Swahili. Okay? Swahili is the only subject which is taught in Swahili because it is Swahili subject. Okay? So, you can find that all of us here, all of us who got that chance to go to secondary schools, we have that uh, foundation in English. So if you went there, then this is going to be of a great help because you know how to write, you know how to read in English. But the problem is you don't have that ability to speak in front of people. If you have that problem, then you will have to put this last. Writing and reading will be last. What you're supposed to do is you have to start with practicing. You know, the main purpose is for us to speak, to become fluent, to speak without thinking about grammar, to speak without thinking about uh, whether you're wrong or correct. You have to speak naturally as you speak your first language. Do you have to think about nouns? Do you have to think about pronouns? Do you have to think about verbs when speaking? You don't think about that. And when you are thinking about that, then that is a professional way. And we don't have to consider a profession here. What we want here is to be good speakers, fluent speakers. That is the only thing we want to do. Okay? So you have to be good at speaking. So back to the topic now, back to the title here. Learn English, Harmonize, or Konde Boy's Way. You know, the guy just wanted to be a good speaker. So what he did, he put an effort on speaking. He just said, I have to speak to. Maybe whenever I meet Chris Brown, I have to speak to him. Whenever I meet these Nigerian musicians, I have to speak to them. So what do I do? I have to learn how to speak English. That is what he just thought to do. The first thing was to speak. The first goal was to speak to him. That's why you can say that Harmonize is good at speaking than writing English. Sometimes you can find that writing English to Harmonize is a problem, but that is not a big problem to him because he just wanted to be a good speaker. He put an emphasis, he put an effort on becoming a fluent speaker, and he's successful on that. Do you understand? Do you agree with me? Okay? He is successful in that. Harmonize will never meet, maybe, let's say, an artist from America and fail to communicate to them. They will have to communicate because he made sure that he is good at communicating in English, speaking in English. When I say Harmonize is not good at writing, I don't mean that he's totally not good. No, he faces some kind of hardships when it comes to writing. But when it comes to speaking, you can hear him speaking like a native speaker. He speaks very well, speaks very good. And sometimes that has to be an inspiration to you. You have to be inspired by him because the guy did not know how to speak English when he started his career. He was just good at speaking Swahili, maybe, uh, and his vernacular. Okay. So his focus was now put on speaking. He speaks very well, but you can find him making some mistakes, like when he's maybe writing. For example, this is an example. This is a correct way. This is incorrect way. Correct, incorrect. For example, the correct way to write, he is not my friend. He is not my friend. Or he is not my friend. In this way. This he. He. You start with the pronoun he, then you put apostrophe, then you add AC. So he is not my friend. He is not my friend. But you can just find that he write it this way. His. His. This his means uh, implies some possession, something you possess, or something possessed by him. So he's not my friend. This is wrong, but when you are speaking, it can sound like this. He's not my friend. But when you write it this way, it doesn't make sense because everybody knows we have to write it this way. Okay? That is an error, a writing error. But when it comes to speaking, he speaks it very perfectly. But writing it sometimes is a problem. So to him, this is not the big deal. The big deal is he's a good speaker. Do you understand? Okay, now you can find him writing this. We have this word glory. It is written this way, but you can find him writing it this way. Glory. This R has shifted from here to here. So it's a common mistake to him. But this was not his focus. You have to understand that. His focus was to speak. And your focus has to be speaking because this one you can just take your time to self-collect yourself. Okay? You are wrong. You are wrong. You are wrong. Its short form is you are. You are wrong. It has to have an apostrophe here. Then you have to add an E. Okay? You're wrong. You're wrong. But you will find him writing it this way. You are wrong. This means possession too. You are. Maybe your car, uh, your books, your name. What is your name? But you are wrong has not to be written this way. You have to write it. You are wrong. You're wrong. When you pronounce it without just writing it down. It sounds the same, but while writing, you have to write it this way. And in communication, just oral communication, this is just normal. Okay, there is another word here, the word very. Very, you are very beautiful. You are very clever. You are very tall. So very, it has to be written this way, very. But you can find him writing it this way. Very with double R. Double R. This is not, this is wrong, this is correct. But to him, you have to understand that the focus was not writing, the focus was speaking. So you have to understand it. So he is now successful in speaking. But when it comes to writing, it gives him some kind of hardship or some kind of difficulty. That is not a problem. It will take a good time for him to self-collect. his mistakes. Then, if he managed to be a good speaker, he will manage to be a good writer too. But the first goal was accomplished. But this one, he has to take time to learn it. He has to take time to make sure that he becomes a good writer. But for now, he's good and successful in English speaking, fluent speaking. He can speak to any kind of artists and they can understand and do work together. So I just say, let us learn from him. In language learning, you can use him as a good example. So I say, let me just share with you this way of learning English, Harmonize way. So Harmonize passed through this. You just watch how people speak, listen to their words, listen to the way they pronounce words, listen to the way they construct sentences, listen to the way they sound. You listen to them, then you comprehend, you understand what they say, you understand the meanings of the words they speak. After understanding, you speak the same way they speak. First of all, you have to know what you want to become: a good writer or a good speaker. You have to understand that you need to know what you want. If you want to become a good speaker, if you want to become a fluent speaker, then you have to pass through this. If you want to become a good writer, then that is another case, and we should cover it too. I will teach you about that. So for today, I wanted to talk to you, to give you this overview, to share with you this learning English harmonized way or learning English Konde boys way. I just wanted you to concentrate on that. Don't be afraid of making mistakes the way he is. He doesn't fear, or he isn't afraid of making mistakes. The guy is always positive. Whether he makes mistakes or not, what he wants is you to understand what he's doing. What he cares about is his own people. Do they understand him? He has made a mistake today. He will never make them another day. And that is how we are supposed to learn. Okay, so today, guys, I have to end it here. Meet you on another lesson. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for keeping following me. I believe you have subscribed now. Thank you. Be a good follower of my lessons. I appreciate it. Thank you.